What? Holy fuck. Okay, it's a learning curve. Thought I've experienced it. But how? Fuck no. I was so wrong. And that's only G3, you know.
I don't even know how excited people will get.
My name is Dean Chan. I started racing this year because it almost felt like a midlife crisis. I want to try that, how good I am. I have some budget. I've been doing sim racing for so long and I've been doing amateur motorsport for so long. But I never really have done any motorsport in professional level. So that's why I really want to see where I am. I want to see that, taking out all the inconsistency in terms of like logistics and car preparations and car differences, like how am I set up to awesome. In terms of pace, it's realistic that I'm not as fast as them, that's for sure, because the seat time itself is just a big difference. But I think that I did gain quite a lot at the end, that I think my pace is slightly over a second slower than my teammates. And compared to some of the pros out in the field, I sometimes even less than a second separate, probably half a second between me and the other pros sometimes.
You're trying to aim at that apex.
Okay.
Yeah. Apex is key here.
Yeah.
He wants to hear and then
okay.
yeah.
But you do want to ground the curve right to the apex, and it's more about like being ground.
Okay.
Over the person.
Because it's not really like taking this traditional line. You're kind of on the right, on the left here.
Yeah.
You think you're set up for the right, but you're just like too far left. There's no reason. You go all the way to the right, and then come back out a bit, or you can go flat to the right. Like, so eventually, like, you're not gonna go flat to the right today.
Amateur racer is such a big field. The variation is so big that I can't really speak for the others. But from what I see on the field, that it can be really close to the pro or very far from the pro. Most of the time, I've only done amateur racing. Since I was in high school, university, I've done autocross. I have been doing autocross most of my career. And then once I got into university, I have a little bit more budget. I pick up a kart. So I went go-karting, L206, the lower class, so not even two-stroke. And then eventually a group of friends went into two-stroke, and then I got the two-stroke instead. But I never done a full season. Most of the time that I just kind of go to the kart race locally 2-3 times a year, sometimes 4 times a year, but I think maximum probably that. And then I've been doing sim racing since like 2010, seriously. But I've also been doing Gran Turismo since I was a very little kid. Gran Turismo, and I don't even know whether I should call Need for Speed as a sim, but yeah, those are only my experience about motorsport. Oh, of course, time attack at the end. After I graduated school and got a little bit more money, time attack, and then endurance racing, amateur endurance racing here and there. So I think total road race experience I have less than 10. Probably around 6 to 7 races in total. And then a whole bunch of time attack, autocross, and hill climbs and stuff like that. Sim racing helped me in real life racing at the same time that the real racing helped the sim racing. Yeah, like in sim racing, it helps me basically that to kind of train on my mentality, train on my vision, train on some of the skills that I need to specifically practice on real life. It just gives me a lot more seat time to kind of get used to a car, get used to a track, to train my approach a little bit more. Yeah, for sure, like sim racing helps a lot. I think the most obvious part is learning the track, because just give you an example, me and Juice, Jaden, neither of us have raced in Japan before. Of course, I'm an amateur, he's a professional driver, but the key point is that we have never visited some of the tracks in Japan, and we have to get up to performance right away, especially for him as well. He's one of the leading driver, but he has been doing iRacing all the time. So the moment that he got into the car and get on track, he just know the track, he just attack right away. That obviously that's a help from a sim. There's no way that someone who hasn't been to the track and just get up to speed right away. And that's the same thing for me as well. Like for example, Okayama, Fuji, Suzuka, I can basically pick up the track within 2-3 laps.
What? Holy fuck. Okay, it's a learning curve. It's I don't know, I think for the first lap, it's a little bit too overwhelming because like too many things are new. The track are new. Like the very first lap, because I've only reviewed on the video. I've never been on the track, absolutely zero. So I try to remember all the visual from the video, but I forgot that the video is in wide angle. So I was like, what the fuck is this? Like the track, how come the track is so narrow? The corner radius is a little bit different, everything's a little bit different. I was like, am I on a different planet or whatsoever? It's just completely different. So I would say that is closer to iRacing. Like iRacing is actually a quite close replicate model of the real thing. Personally, I think. Of course, I need to learn the car a little bit more as well. But yeah, expectations. I would say that the dynamic-wise is exactly what I'm expecting, but the physical condition-wise is outside of my scope of understanding. So I don't know how to explain it. It's right on my expectation and it's completely out of my expectation. I don't know whether it can happen or not.
It's the same as a street fighter.
Just because I have done so many laps on iRacing already. So I know what the track is. The first 2-3 laps basically for me to cite that, you know, whether there's any difference on the track, any difference in expectations, any difference in car performance and stuff like that. And just to do a verification of what I've been experiencing on simulator. And after 2-3 laps, and I can basically work on a program that how do I push it a little bit further, how do I get a little bit faster and stuff like that. So yeah, it saves a lot of times. Like I have just talked to another amateur drivers as well. He said that the simulator helps him a lot in his GT4 career, especially that he thinks, you know, just learning the track alone, it saved him at least 30 minutes track time minimum just to learn the track. Yeah, I think avalanche of information is a very good term to describe it. And I think that's the hardest part for any sim racer to actually get over it. First is the physical. If your physical is good enough, and then you have to deal with all the information and understand it and then process it and then execute it. And I think that's the fun part of racing, to be honest. But also that's the most difficult part, driving a GT3. Brand new, first time. Simulator definitely helps the fundamental to get into real life racing, but I think there's definitely more than that, because other than practicing on the fundamentals, learning how the car feels, how the track is, also it helps a lot whenever for the approach as well, for more advanced stuff. For example, the approach, the mentality, and then the traffic behavior and stuff like that. All those things will just help. I specifically think that simulator helps a lot more in terms of the mental side, driver mental side of things rather than just the fundamental side of things. Yeah. You know, I have to fight fucking jet lag every single race. If you like our video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel. If you don't like our video, you can feel free to comment below with all of your hatred. And please follow our Instagram at Axon Simulator or Axon Motorsport. And if you really want to try our service, please come to one of our locations, 2 in Vancouver, 1 in Taiwan. Fuck!